So I really am disappointed that I couldn't go to the Straight Pride Parade because it looked like a hell of a lot of fun. But this was posted a couple of days before it. It's on It's Going Down, which is a radical left-wing website describing itself as proletarian, so run by champagne socialists. Hashtag all out against white nationalist straight pride event in Boston. Wow, that's weird, isn't it? That'd be a white nationalist thing. It's weird that being straight isn't a black nationalist thing, or an Asian nationalist thing, or something like that. No. This is exclusively ascribed to white nationalists. Called to oppose the so-called Straight Pride Parade. Well, it's just because that's what they named it. I mean, like, the so-called Gay Pride Parade. Well, why is it so called? Well, because that's what they called it. It's a fucking parade. Which is being organised by far-right groups closely tied with white nationalists and neo-Nazis. I'm sure they are. They have MAGA hats after all. What further proof do we need? The long-time goal of Boston's local fash goons... Anyway, it's been to replicate the situation that has existed in Portland, with heavy and violent numbers at regular rallies in Boston. No, they're not Antifa. Obviously, they don't want Antifa to come out. This isn't a giant way of provoking you and making you look silly and getting you to fight the cops or anything. Several of them have made a habit of flying out to Oregon to participate in street fighting. Well, yeah, but there's lots of lefties who do the same. So what's the concern there? We have been resisting them for years and have been largely able to prevent them from building strength, but due to the high-profile nature of this particular event, we could use your help. I love that. The Straight Pride Parade is not actually a giant threat to mankind. If they have a Straight Pride Parade, then we're no longer gay. What? What is the argument here? I mean, that's literally their position, though. The Straight Pride Parade is an overtly queer-phobic and especially transphobic event. Trans people can be straight. Like, they don't have to be gay. I don't know how it works exactly because, you know, the complexities of if you're a man, you become a woman, but you're still attracted to a woman. You are gay, but they're assuming, according to the logic of intersectionality, but if you're a trans woman who likes men, then surely you are straight. What's queer-phobic and transphobic about that? No one said you couldn't do that. No one said they can't have queer allies either. I mean, look at Milo. He's the queerest person in the world, and he was the one leading the damn thing. So, you know, I don't know what you're talking about. This is not a statement against gay people, in the same way that the Gay Pride Parade isn't a statement against straight people, is it? Or is it? Oh dear. Did the mask fall? And any gathering of fascists also endangers people of colour, Jews, Muslim, immigrants, disabled people, leftists, and others. Yeah, that's right. Leftists, that oppressed group. But and seriously, like, what are the dangers of people walking through the town saying, you know what, we're proud of being straight? What are the dangers of that? That's not going to undermine any of these communities. I mean, the Muslims would totally agree. Muslims would probably be the ones hosting their own Straight Pride Parade next year, right? Muslims are not suddenly in favour of homosexuality because white nationalists are against it in your mind. And even then, I don't think this was a statement against gay people. You're the ones who are saying things like straight pride is hate. That's not what the Straight Pride organisers are saying. If it didn't come from you, no one else would say it. Because, I mean, like, you're not even presenting evidence that they're Nazis here. You're just saying, look, here they are at the thing. I mean, maybe they're Nazis. I'm not going to say they're not, but I can't see any proof of it yet. But you can just present the swastikas and the organised readings of Mein Kampf if you want. I'm happy to wait for this evidence. But we'll just keep assuming that everyone involved is a Nazi. Okay, even though, you know, resist Marxism doesn't necessarily make you a Nazi, in the same way that being an anti-fascist doesn't necessarily make you a communist. Unfortunately, the Straight Pride Parade runs the risk of undoing our success. It went viral in a way that makes it hard to predict who it may attract and what we can expect. We need everyone we possibly can to rally to disrupt these fascists and send them home disappointed. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, how could the Straight Pride Parade undo anything that you've done unless what you were trying to do is suppress straight people from being proud of being straight? Just out of interest. But it didn't go viral in a way that makes it hard to predict who's going to attract. It went viral with the people who support gay pride. All of the verified checkmarks, actors, corporations, politicians, they've all condemned a Facebook group with like 5,000 people liking it. It didn't go viral among the straight people. It went viral among the gay pride people. So I found this Twitter thread about the day from a leftist perspective, and I've got to put the headphones on because there'll be some videos included in it. It's really good. They're really angry at everyone. I wanted to collect as much of the bullshit that the Boston Police the Boston Police Department and their friends from around the area pulled during yesterday's Straight Pride Parade counter demonstration. 1 of 28. I love how he had this planned out, right? The cops spent the day enacting a program of violence and intimidation on us with no provocation whatsoever. Maybe you should have just stayed home then. You know that those police are a bunch of fascists as well. This came in 3 stages. Pre-parade, once we arrived at City Hall Plaza and after the conclusion of the Straight Pride rally. Well, good. I like to see me some leftists getting truncheoned. I want to collect some videos and give people a fuller understanding of how things played out yesterday. When protesters arrived at their staging area at the Boston Public Garden, the police had already set up an extensive line of barricades, setting a channel through the Boylston Street. Protesters took up position behind these barricades, but for some reason this wasn't good enough for the cops and they started harassing protesters almost immediately, making arrests for no discernible reason. Well, go be a leftist somewhere else. That's what they're saying. And, you know, just because it's not captured on the video doesn't mean that there isn't a good reason to arrest these people. There's every chance that they fucking did something. In this article, Steve Quist notes that a protester was detained because the cops claimed they needed a permit for their bullhorn, which the cops promptly stole for them. Well, maybe if you've got that permit, then, you know, you wouldn't have had that taken away from you. You wanted big government, and this is what big government looks like. Got a fucking license for that bullhorn, son. And believe it or not, we have the same thing over in Britain, by the way. Like, I've got a bullhorn, and I can't really use it that often, because in lots of areas you actually do need permission to use them. And the cops will just take them off you or force you to stop. But cops claimed a protester had a weapon and took him down. He was carrying a water bottle. Well, it might have been full of concrete cement and milkshake, so who knows? But I'm glad to see the cops are being diligent here. Another one of these arrests. Look, stop resisting arrest, dude. Stop resisting arrest. They're not going to be like, oh, you know what? He didn't want to be arrested. Just let him go. Just let that one go. Don't worry about that guy. So yeah, if you want to see a nice montage of people leftists getting arrested by cops, this is a pretty good thread. Even though the cops had set up their barricades in the street, they decided that the street needed to be cleared and the protesters needed to move onto the sidewalk. This would lead to even more escalation and arrests. Why didn't you just move onto the sidewalk? I mean, they do have floats coming down the road. They do need the road cleared for the parade to actually go ahead. So what the hell are you talking about? There's nothing wrong with that. Good to see such a great police presence as well. Commies BTFO'd. Why did the cops decide that the barricade they had set up was not acceptable? And then it was appropriate to violently move the crowd out of the street. Things got pretty rough. Yeah, I hope so. I hope that the cops... You wouldn't just move for the cops. That's the thing. Cops are like, no, you're going to have to get out of the street. And you're like, no, fuck you, cops. I hate the fash. And the cops are like, no, you're just going to have to get out of the fucking road. Just get out of the road. Just do as they're asking. That's my trick to getting absolutely nothing bad happen to me when I'm at all of these protests. All you have to do is just move out of the way and the cops say move out of the way. Or you could scream and pule and whine about it and get yourself arrested. You know, it's your choice and you made it. But that wasn't enough, because a few minutes later the cops went through the newly moved barricades to arrest even more protesters, again for no discernible reason. Shameful display by the Boston police at Straight Pride, charging into protesters who were protesting peacefully on the sidewalk, beating, arresting and pep spraying. 2019's been so great. Make no mistake, Straight Priders hate pride, and cops are here to protect and uphold white supremacy. Well, I imagine that's one of the reasons they're trying to get you fucking back then, isn't it? If you think the cops are Nazis too. During this charge, the cops pepper sprayed people, unfortunately not for the last time that day, in an uncontrolled manner. It is that meme. Psh, go be a leftist somewhere else. Look, I have got no particular sympathies for people getting pepper sprayed if they won't fucking move back when they're told to move back. Because the thing is, if it wasn't for these cops, the people who were organising the Straight Pride Parade would have had the shit kicked out of them by angry leftists who are saying this is an attack on being gay.
3 times! 3 times!
Could have just stayed at home, buddy. I noticed you're wearing face masks as well.
As the Straight Pride parade arrives. Let them go! Let them go! Let them go!
That's right, you get cops to let people go by just chanting at them. This was the parade passing by us. After they passed by, we trailed on with them towards their path towards City Hall Plaza. When we arrived there, this is the sight we were greeted by. Oh, what, law and order? Yeah, you must have been fucking disappointed. Look who's protecting the fash. They'd do the same to you if the situation was reversed. That's just their job, just so you know. We took up a position on Congress Street, which is already closed, across from where the Straight Pride rally was happening. About 10 minutes after we arrived, the cops decided to have a motorcycle parade through us. Good. Keep you in fucking line. Remember that you are supposed to operate within the bounds of law and order. I want to highlight just how loud those motorcycles were. Oh no, was it aggressive sounds, was it? Oh, were your sensitive ears damaged? Maybe you should have stayed home. Maybe you should have just gone home and ignored this obvious troll event. Just move back. Oh, that's right. Start fighting with the cops. Good idea. Fuck you, cops. You're not my mum. Things remained relatively calm throughout the rest of Straight Pride Rally, besides chasing random right-wingers out of our space. So there we go. You were chasing after people, weren't you? After the fash had left the plaza, we were just milling around and there was no real appetite or direction to go after them. Fucking weak and lazy, that's why. People were hot and tired, and the crowd had already thinned a bit. If the cops had given us another half hour, we would have dispersed on our own. But no, apparently they had to open the street right away. The street that was closed all day and should never have been closed in the first place. So out came the motorcycles again, and this time a lot of people didn't move for them. Well... This is not what a police state looks like, by the way. Police states, I don't think they've ever had straight pride parades that have been attacked by queer activists who end up getting in confrontation with the cops by standing in front of them yelling that they're part of a police state. That's not what it looks like. Black cop punching white leftist. If you're on the wrong side of the black cop and you're yelling, you know, he's a white supremacist, is there any point at which you go, you know what, maybe it's us who are in the wrong. Maybe we shouldn't be harassing people, even if they hold a parade that we don't agree with. But anyway, everyone's favourite communist chimed in. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez mocked Boston Straight Pride Parade over a lack of women. Well, maybe the women were afraid of going because of the terrifying communist agitators who were seeking to do them harm, that required a remarkably large police presence. I'm just saying, maybe, just like with the Minds IRL conference, in fact, where several women and trans women and women of colour cancelled because Antifa had intimidated them into not going. But anyway, despite facing a great deal of well-deserved mockery, Boston Straight Pride Parade, it did end up happening on Saturday. All the straights gathered together to celebrate being in sexual relationships that have never been criminalised. Congrats, you're in the dominant culture. Well, I don't know, man. I mean, it looks like they're actually the oppressed majority, doesn't it? You know, it was really difficult for them to get this to go off without getting cancelled or getting harassed and threatened, blah, 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 blah. So I would say that... yeah, sorry, it's not the dominant culture. I would say the dominant culture is an aristocratic culture of queers who are suppressing the oppressed majority, just like they did back in ancient Greece. The whole thing is pretty ridiculous, except for the fact that it was connected to the Proud Boys, a clownish sect of white nationalists. They're not white nationalists. Spearheaded by Gavin McInnes and his squad. Wherever they go, they seem to encourage some kind of mayhem, including violence, public destruction of property. Are you sure you're not talking about Antifa? This sounds an awful lot like victim blaming to me. Wherever you go, we turn up and smash stuff up. Therefore, you caused it. That's what that sounds like to me. The official group organising it was called Super Happy Fun America. I don't see what possible objection to them you could have. If anti-fascism is just the opposition to fascism, then Super Happy Fun America is just making America super happy and fun. I don't know what your problem is. And they say on the website they want to achieve inclusivity and spread awareness of issues impacting straights. Well, that sounds very progressive to me. I don't know what you could possibly complain about. Representative Ocasio-Cortez shared the clip of parade goers walking grimly through the streets, then commented on the fact that almost all the women visible at the scene are the reporters. How? That sounds really transphobic. How do you know that these are not women? Just because they don't present as women? You didn't even check. In your rush to condemn the Straight Pride Parade, you have turned into a raging transphobe, good lady. Why on earth are you denying their right to choose their own gender? There are a few ladies scattered about, but for the most part it's dudes marching. It's really presumptive. That doesn't seem very progressive at all. They must be deeply jealous of LGBTQ pride floats or something. A lot of them also are carrying messages of support for Donald Trump. Big surprise. Well, fascist confirmed. She wrote, for men who are allegedly so proud of being straight, they seem to show real incompetence at attracting women to their event. Well, you don't know they're men, and you don't know they're not women. I don't know why you're just ignoring this fact or outing yourself as a massive transphobe. That's disgusting. I can't believe you aren't being held to account by your own community for this kind of misgendering. You don't know. Seems more like an I struggle with masculinity parade to me. It's not a feminist parade. They're the ones who struggle with masculinity, let's be honest. You know, I don't see any beta leftists there. Hopefully they grow enough over the next year to support/join LGBTQ fam next. #pride. Well, the question is, why don't the LGBTQ guys grow enough to support them? I have absolutely every confidence that if the LGBTQ club wanted to say, you know what, straight lives do matter. We also support the oppressed majority. We will march with you in solidarity. They'd totally accept it. But instead they had to come out and protest, didn't they? Really makes you think. So yeah, I thought that straight pride parade looked like a rousing success. People turned up there, they looked great, they had amazing pillows, and I look forward to seeing the one next year. Hopefully, it's not double booked with an event I'm already going to. I'd love to go and give a speech about the plight of the oppressed majority in the United States. We can't have the gay mafia oppressing everyone forever, you know. We will be free, straight people will have their rights, they will be able to come together just like gay people have the ability to do, without being oppressed by a big angry mob of people in black. Just saying.